with João Felix, and apparently we're looking at another wide forward, and he typically he falls under that. I do think he would cook a lot more in this Arsenal team. But when you break it down, I'm with you. If you could bring in João Felix, wonderful player, great dribbling ability, could score goals, could assist, a lovely footballer. But when you break it down, and away from mine and your and anyone else's admiration for the player, what is he bringing to the table beyond being a great player? Like Riley said, and it kind of tees up the next question. Like Riley said, if we're naming our strongest 11, we all know we need competition and squad depth and all of that jazz, but smash the like button as well, people. But if we're naming like our strongest 11, where does João Felix get into it for all his ability, and how does he add to the team immediately? Does he take Saka's place? Does he take Odegaard's? Does he put pressure on Martinelli, Trossard, Smith Rowe, whoever's playing off that left? Where does he go, really and truly? I'm having him, don't get it twisted, but I just don't know. Like, when I go by my own logic, does he improve our team? I believe yes, but no at the same time. But I don't know, man. To be honest with João Felix, it's probably the finances around the deal, if I'm honest. Openda's a very decent player, and he's a year older, than Balogun, and he just went for 43 to 46 million quid. And that's where I think the European teams, when they're dealing with each other, they do English clubs a bit dirty, because you know, if that Openda guy from Lens was going to the Premier League, whatever he's going to Leipzig for, who apparently are getting Xavi Simons on a loan, there's going to be a tax added to that, really and truly. We always see it. Premier League clubs will go after a certain individual. They don't move to the Premier League clubs for whatever reason, and then they'll move to another European team for a fairly solid price. And to be fair, if I'm Inter, if I'm AC, if I'm anybody, I'm trying to get Balogun. Naturally, business is like that, but I'm trying to get Balogun for the lowest fee you possibly can. Let's actually break it down. Obviously, Inter Milan would be a fantastic thing for him to do. Bunch of British players have gone over there, but Inter Milan are not stupid. A bit like Roma, we're going to buy him from England. He's going to stay here. He's going to develop. One day he might become, that 100 million odd player, for example, and we're going to sell him back to the same market, just like Tammy Abraham's going to one day be sold to a Premier League club for a decent little tidy profit. So it's a relationship of convenience. Shout out Zims Muller. Make sure you're following him on Twitch and on YouTube for your FM content. Diaby and Vlahovic looks like he's going Paris Saint-Germain. Diaby, 1 minute it's Aston Villa. I don't know what's going on there. Can't lie, just check 6 different sites, and 5 claim Eddie has a base salary of 100k. The other said 77k. Either way, what a finesse, bro. I rate it. You get, bro, young icy free living in London. If you're getting 100, but which I still don't believe, you're getting 100 bags base salary, Eddie. Your agent's had a blinder. You've had a blinder. 77k is probably more on the higher side, but when you look at it, he's got, whether you believe in Eddie or not, he's got his best years in front of him. I'd assume he signed a 4 or 5 year deal. I'm assuming there's a lot of bonuses in there, so that's probably where Arsenal have looked after him a bit. Obviously, with not just Eddie and Nketiah, but also Reece Nelson, tying their contracts down means obviously they've got longer in their contract. We're in a stronger position to demand the fee, but based on their wages, you might make it harder to shift them off. Does Balogun even start into? You'd have to ask them, really and truly. It looks like there's a void there with Lukaku. I swear Edin Dzeko's left. You've got Lautaro Martinez, who would start ahead of him, but you've seen many a time interplay with 2 forwards. So it could be a great opportunity for me. You look at the numerous wavy guys that have played there. Inter Milan keen on signing USMNT, almost messed that up, striker Folarin Balogun from Arsenal. Inter Milan are interested in signing Arsenal and USA striker Balogun. The Italian club are keen to recruit a new forward in this summer transfer window, and are exploring a potential deal to bring the 22-year-old to San Siro. Now, it says they've got an interest, and to be fair, if the Athletic are saying it now, what probably started as tentative links, it seems like there's legs to it. The legs being, if they're looking for a striker, whether you think Balogun's the guy or not, he is going to, like with a lot of clubs, he's going to rank on the list somewhere, really, as it would be the case if Arsenal were looking for a striker and Balogun was playing elsewhere. Hasn't said a bid has happened, hasn't said talks, proper talks apart from just casual conversation has started yet. There's no bid for Arsenal to whatever, really. And I think Balogun's one, it could, transfers can start very quickly, but that's one that's probably a developing story. I don't know if Inter Milan have other targets. They should. I don't know if they've exhausted them and then they're spinning the block for Balogun. I don't know. For what it's worth, it's Inter Milan, innit? Lovely country like Italy, massive club like Inter Milan, being a striker for Inter Milan as well. I'm not too sure if he'll start and whatnot, because there's a lot of pressure, but you've got to relish it. I kind of thought maybe, you should go to a little Dortmund or one of them clubs where respectfully you're taking a step back to take a step forward, really. Even if Reims had the financial capacity to sign you permanently, it could be good setting up shop there. playing over 100 times, staying there for a couple of years, the move will come. Talks have been taking place with the reps of Balogun, although there has been no club-to-club offer as of yet. A bid of around 40 million euros, in brackets 34.3 million, is expected to arrive. Arsenal are believed to value him at 50 million quid, the pound sign, so 50 million quid. So if we can get a sell-on clause, a buyback clause, there's things to happen. And crucially, if that could be reinvested, I'm cool for it. Where I somewhat start to doubt things is, it seems like a backup option. The Lukaku thing doesn't seem to be happening. He seems to be going Juventus. So this is where things could probably come from. Obviously, Arsenal haven't been helped with Balogun, rightly or wrongly, making it clear, I don't want to go out on loan again. He's contracted until 2025. So on the face of it, you could have him for another year. But if we have to revisit this situation a year from now, then whatever negotiating position we have is going to be weakened, because next summer we'd have a year left on his deal, and 6 months from that point he could agree moves to the Inters, to the ACs, to the Napolis, and all the other teams linked with him for free, people. And I don't want any dramas, man. We've been here with Reece Nelson, we've been here with Ozil, we've been here with Aubameyang, we've been here with Smith Rowe, we've been here a couple times with Saka, even though last deal he signed weren't that. It's football, in it. There's always going to be contract drama, but it'd be nice to just have a somewhat of a season, kind of like last year, where it's just the football, rightly or wrongly. It's just what the football are doing. Just take Eddie instead in to do us a favor, please. Well, offer both. I think it's good to have competition in the team, makes it more competitive, which hopefully means the players up their game. There you have it there, really. So far, 5 out of 10 window. The bench needs improving by doing that, get better players than what we have in the starting 11. To be fair with you, Havertz at this moment in time, I can't say that's the case, but maybe in hindsight we see that. Timber's immediate pressure. Listen, Timber don't want to sit on no bench, as doesn't Benjamin White or Saliba. You lot fire out, like Terry was saying, and the best individuals win. Clearly Declan Rice is a curtain raiser. Like, that is the closest we've been to, without him kicking the ball for Arsenal. And I'm not saying he is Patrick Vieira, but that is the closest Arsenal have been in a long time to somewhat replacing what Patrick Vieira is. Now, again, Patrick Vieira was up here. Declan Rice, you're a good player. You're nowhere near him, but that's the closest. Obviously, Partey, you could throw him into that. I've already discussed Partey. For me, Partey is good, but there's 5 or so games a season where he's great. And if Partey does stay at Arsenal, I want him to be that, really and truly. Apparently, Balogun, meanwhile, appeared to rule out another loan move earlier in June amid uncertainty over his long-term future at the Emirates. What I can say is I definitely won't go on loan again. I'm not sure about the discussions that are going to take place. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm just committed to now. I try to stay present. I obviously want to enjoy the moment with my team and family. Fair enough, Balogun. And once again, Inter Milan have made him their number one target, really. And Arsenal might say, you know what, in terms of recouping some finances, this is a good chance. We did initially hear Cedric Suarez was traveling to America. Apparently, he's been left at home. Reece Nelson is nursing an injury, as is Thomas Partey. Partey and Smith Rowe are scheduled to link up with the boys at a later date. Partey's future is obviously subject to speculation. Apparently, the Gunners are ready to cash in on the 22-year-old who excelled on loan last season. He got 22 goals in 39 appearances. Inter Milan are unable to meet the £50 million asking price, but could insert a buyback clause or offer a favourable percentage of any future sale to help drive down costs. I mean, I don't think we're going to get 50 million of Balogun. I hope so. I think when you see some other moves that have happened, there's every logic with some fans saying 50 million, but I always try to put myself in the other shoes. Would I spend 50 million on Balogun? Yes and no. Yes, because I think his ability in today's day and age, 50 million is the new 20. Why not? No, because he's only done it for 1 year. He's got basically a year on his contract. He's made it clear that he wants to leave. If I was trying to buy Balogun, I'm talking to his reps and saying, listen, Martinelli's played false 9, Trossard's played false 9, Eddie Nketiah signed a new deal. I know Arteta is telling you Kai Havertz can play in midfield, but where was he playing for Chelsea last season? Jesus has just walked in. Whether you're a striker or a 10 or a winger, there's only so many of you that can start, let alone be on the bench. I'll try and drive this price down. And obviously, the lower you drive Balogun's price, the more that, you're obviously going to make in terms of profit. And I'll just say he's only done it for 1 season. Tierney, we should be getting good money for our flying Scotsman. But if I'm trying to buy him, if I'm Newcastle, I'm saying, boy, I've seen Kyrgios, Tomiyasu and Zinchenko marginalize him from the starting 11. And obviously, he's got the injury issues. So we'll have to see exactly, people. Apparently, Arteta rates Balogun highly. To be fair, we should have, when he signed that initial deal, the latest new contract he signed, we should have offered a lot, had a clause of an extension or something. For what it's worth, Balogun wants to be a regular starter next season, a role he's unlikely to get at Arsenal, at least not initially. Hopefully, the club say, 6 months. It's down to you. If January the 1st comes and you ain't happy with your game time, cut in January or do what you need to do. And as previously stated, that he definitely won't go on loan. We've seen that. So repeating the same things. Lukaku could be going to Juventus. Vlahovic, another man we was linked with, could be going Paris Saint-Germain. So we'll have to watch that closely. We've obviously seen this in relation to Balogun. We've just been discussing that. The structure of the deal could prove to be key. Inter have put a £40 million offer on the table for Balogun. However, would pay the fee across 5 installments. Inter Milan have also proposed an initial loan deal containing no obligation to buy the players as they try and do some creative accounting. The outgoings are not stopping there. Apparently, young goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo has been told he can leave the club on a permanent deal this summer. He only has a year left on his current contract and is subject to interest from clubs in England and across Europe. Obviously, he went to Austria and he's obviously been at Crewe. He's doing what he needs to do. So this is what the academy needs to do. Push people into the first team. If not, let's sell, let's reinvest. Big up top blue. Balogun is a baller. We are embarrassing, man. Man United want to sign Xavi Simons on loan and United are going for Cara. We're linked with no one now. We need to get some big attacking signings. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we should have watched what other people did. I wouldn't necessarily say we're embarrassing. We just shattered our transfer record and overpaid a bit for Declan Rice based on what you've seen in the Athletic. Apparently, we valued him at 70 to 80. You all saw the cost and the potential final cost. So I understand the frustration and the shiny new toy stuff, but yeah, man. It is what it is. I don't know why they don't do the deal in installments. Makes more sense to me. I mean, unless it's a release clause thing, 9 times out of 10, these big money signings or these multi-million pound deals, they are done in installments. Every club would be broke if they did a leverage financing and stuff. And you know what, 100 million on this player, 100 million up front on that player. That's not the way to run a business, isn't it? You need a cash flow. I think Partey is leaving due to non-footballing reasons. I'll have to comment that upon when it's arrived, didn't it? There's obviously a lot of speculation with Partey and all the stuff off the field. It's a madness, really. Big up yourself, E-man, nonetheless. But yeah, competition, like Terry said, brings out the best in all of us. But continuing this, Chris Wheatley has said, I understand Cedric Suarez's omission from Arsenal's pre-season trip to the US was a tactical decision by Arteta. He's not close to moving away, but the situation is expected to develop in the coming weeks. Rightly so. I mean, on the face of it, Cedric wears his heart on his sleeve. He's not a disruptive figure. And, you know, whether he's going to be at Arsenal or elsewhere, smash the like button, YouTube ones, big up the Twitch ones. You know, he's someone that could be utilized. Maybe Arteta saw his performance defensively when he brought him on in the last game and said, forget that. I do like this because maybe this is a signal which, you know, Cedric's no idiot. You went on loan. You just seen Timber arrive. Benjamin White's here. You know you're not in the first team picture. But if he had any hope of reintegrating and breaking into the team and proving Arteta wrong, maybe Arteta's told you, listen, get on the phone to your agent, use London Coley's facilities because you're still an employee of the club. Keep yourself fit. But get on the phone to your agent and coordinate a move away from the club, really. Pepe's also not travelled. We knew he wasn't going to travel, really. Apparently, it's clear that Arsenal's transfer business is not finished yet, despite the £210 million outlay. They are still in the market for a new right-sided forward as they look to bolster their squad. Right, you know, I still think we need to sign a midfielder, and I still think we need another central midfielder. I thought with Reece Nelson signing a new deal and with us probably spending, 200 odd million quid now, that winger might just be parked off. But if we're able to do it, if the market dictates, you know, something that's too good to turn down, if we're able to do it with some outgoings, get it done, really and truly. Arsenal burned some bridges with the Brighton hierarchy in January with their persistence to sign Caicedo. There was a feeling Chelsea had done so much groundwork ahead of this window that Caicedo was virtually wrapped up in blue ribbons, but Arsenal did check with the players' camp when progress appeared to slow with West Ham over a fee for Declan Rice. So the Caicedo thing, where Arsenal's concern, is done. Keeping up the theme with goalies, we spoke on Arthur Okonkwo. He's looking like he could leave. Karl Heinz to go out on loan again. And to be fair, you know, the last pre-season friendly and when you played against Brighton, you need to go on loan. You got an error in you. Runnison is most likely to be loaned or sold. Arsenal want 1.5 to 2 million quid, which is probably still too expensive for him. And we could sign an experienced third choice later on in the window, allegedly. Burnley would prefer to sign Lokonga on a permanent deal. I'm sure a lot of us would prefer that as well. Omar Rekic is heading to Birmingham on loan, allegedly, despite strong interest from Sevilla. The last centre-back in Austin Trusty we sent to Birmingham, he won Player of the Year there and he gave a good account of himself. So whatever they put in the water over there at Birmingham, pull it in his Lucas and let's make him a top player. And we're going to recoup some sort of money with loan fees, and obviously several players leaving. You know, a number of under 21s are leaving / will leave, etc., etc. I think we'll make some signings at that level. Gunner Blogger said, is there room for one more attacker? Maybe there could be an opportunistic signing. This is pure speculation on my part, but what I might keep an eye on would be João Felix, which is true, essentially. You never, when you do the bulk of your business early, you know, that's, you know, getting Declan Rice, getting Havertz, getting Timber, that's Arsenal being proactive. Now, maybe you know, where incomings are concerned, excluding a centre mid, we can probably be reactive and see what the market is saying. There might be a player that, you know, Arsenal were told in June or May he's not for sale. In August it could be a different thing. I don't think Eddie will go, says Gunner Blog as well. So we'll have to see, man. We will have to see. And I mean, it just seems the finances around João Felix probably means it's a myth. You know, it would have been an expensive loan for us or Manchester United. Both of us didn't get involved. You know, Chelsea won that battle, but, you know, it didn't work out. Once again, for Romano, I said young Arthur Okonkwo could leave Arsenal on a permanent deal this summer. His deal expires next summer. He's got clubs interested in him from England and across Europe. On Caicedo, Ben Jacobs has said he's really unhappy and agreement. He's really unhappy and an agreement for a move to Chelsea isn't in place yet. He returns to Brighton with progress expected this week. Chelsea are yet to table another formal offer, but they are looking around 70 million plus add-ons. As revealed, this has always been the ballpark. I mean, if there was 70 million spare at the Emirates, get involved. Charles Watts on Partey said, first of all, I don't think it's been confirmed that he's agreed a deal. I've seen the reports myself, but they are not reports from anywhere which I would be confident to think that's legit. From my understanding, he's agreed nothing with anyone, and people that are close to him are surprised at these reports that are doing the rounds that he's agreed anything with a Saudi club. As far as I'm aware, he's off to America with the rest of the squad right now. Well, there you have it. He's actually not, and he'll join up later. So I think Charles Watts is right, but nobody really knows anything essentially. Again, Chelsea on Romano. I understand Chelsea will improve their bid for Caicedo this week. It's not about official bids, as Chelsea, Brighton are discussing directly club to club, but proposal will be improved, more than 70 million fixed. Chelsea hope to get it done this week. So we'd love to get involved there, but it seems that's a myth there, as you can see. Would love to. I don't want to give up on it yet. We have been linked with Lavia as well, people. And Ben Jacobs has been speaking about Kieran Tierney. I think Tierney is still one to watch. He'll hold talks with Mikel Arteta about his future to work out whether there's a pathway in game time at the Emirates, because his minutes has been diminished since Zinchenko arrived. Once Tierney has communicated to Arsenal whether he's open to leaving or prefers to stay, that door may open. Newcastle, as we know, are one of the clubs monitoring his situation. Probably said Balogun's name too much. Arsene Wenger reckons we can win the Premier League, people. Big up Wenger. On Rice, he said, I think it's a good investment. Overall, personally, I think they've made some good buys, as they are players who are now mature, 23 to 24, and still young, so can stay together for a few years. They'll be more under pressure after last year, but they've learned a lot and they can show they can deal with that pressure now. He then said, big up Wenger, but there's never a time he won't remind us. I had to cope with no money at all, so you have to find a different way. Arsenal is now in a good financial situation and brought what they think will win the championship. I believe we'll win the championship. It's as simple as that. I have less doubts for Arsenal than cycling today. Big him up, man. He said he loves cycling and that. Big up, Wenger. Enjoy your retirement. Tierney, once again, is linked with a move away. Never say never. Brendan Rodgers hasn't played down any Kieran Tierney links back to Scotland. Whether they're able to finance that is another thing. Arsenal, once again, are open to selling Austin Trusty this summer, and allegedly there's plenty of interest in him. So we'll have to see what's going on. He wants to play in the Premier League. Apparently lots of interest in the Championship. Very talented player. He was Birmingham City's player of the season last year, and Arsenal are open to selling him permanently, as I reported in the past. So nothing necessarily new there. Declan Rice, part 2 of his interview has come out, people. The man himself has said, I'm so excited for that. I've said for many years now that I wanted to play in the Champions League. I wanted to push myself at the biggest level. This opportunity at Arsenal has arisen where Arsenal are in the Champions League. It's a great club. At the end of the day, you get one career, and I want to be as successful as I can with Arsenal, make as many Champions League appearances as possible, and hopefully one day get my hands on that trophy. Big up you. The main thing is I'm just going to be myself. There's no need to be different when I'm myself. When I'm Declan, that makes me excel. I'm just going to be the same lad that has worked hard to get to where he's got to. I think the lads will really embrace me. I'm a really outgoing person, so I try to have a laugh, treat everyone how I'd like to be treated. There have been some really good values that I've learned from West Ham that will stay with me forever. It's important to bring those to this club, which also has their own values, so I'm really looking forward to it. My ambition now is to win with Arsenal. I think this fan base deserves it. There's been FA Cups and Community Shields, but now it's time to go one step bigger and win the Premier League, win the Champions League. I wouldn't be here if I did not believe that. Listen, the dream is free. The Arsenal is sold separately. I love the fact that you're talking about that, because who wouldn't want to win that? But let's work towards that one day, man. Let's just keep working. I believe in the squad. I believe in the manager, as do we. Smash the like button, folks. We have a good energy around, and when everyone is pushing in the right direction, Arsenal will take some stopping. He's gassing me, Declan Rice, you're gassing me. You might become my favorite Arsenal player already. Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe. I'm sorry, but He signed my man for 105 million, isn't it? It's going to be really different, obviously, because I've known one club for such a long time. What I'm going to do is embrace it, really embrace it. I'm going to embrace the fans, embrace my teammates. When I pull on the shirt, I know what it means to play for Arsenal because